Today we are reviewing Stray Kids album 8. I will be reviewing each song one by one, but if you'd like to see me react to the songs, please see a link in the description to my Patreon to watch the extended video. Let's review the first song, Mountains. Good album opener, high energy. The strongest aspect of this song is the rapping. The vocal delivery and the spitting and the rhythmic variety of the rapping in this song was really awesome. The rapping really was the best part of the song, and it was really the part that got me grooving. All of their individual verses were excellent. Other than that, I think the song sounded a little bit generic. The production wasn't great, to be honest. The processing on the vocals was a little much, even for them. I shouldn't really say for them, I really should say for K-pop or pop music in general, where vocal processing is kind of prevalent, and it's kind of redundant to even mention it at this point, but there's a sort of digital metallic sheen to those high, that is not that appealing to my ears. Those sort of sung melodies throughout the song, a lot of the whoa whoa whoas and the AOs and stuff, it's a very sort of trendy, generic type of sound, you know? Hype, I suppose, in its own way, but it is kind of an expected sound and therefore doesn't really pull me in. What really pulled me in was the rapping, where you could really actually concentrate on what their voices sounded like and how they wanted to deliver those parts. Those parts were very creative, and the rapping really lifts the song up significantly, despite the production and despite the uninteresting melodies otherwise. So I'd probably give this song a 6. I was tempted to give it a 7, but I'm trying to align my score with my comments too. So we'll start with a 6 out of 10 for the intro. Now we're moving on to Chk Chk Boom, which I've already heard, but I will review it again for the sake of this album review. So Chk Chk Boom is significantly stronger. If you really want my in-depth thoughts on the song, feel free to check out my initial reaction to the music video. But to summarize, the production on this song is a step up from Mountains. It sounds a lot warmer and pleasant to my ears. The vocal parts are perfectly delivered. Even the melodic parts are more tastefully processed. And it just goes hard. The chorus is really great. I love the introduction of the hi-hat in the second verse, really enhances the rhythm. In my initial reaction, I said that this might end up being my favorite song of 2024. I don't know if that's true anymore. I don't know if it has that amount of staying power, but it is a very, very strong single. I do wish that there was more of a development towards the end of the song. The outro is fine, but I would have loved a proper bridge and a reprisal of the final chorus. So I think I'll give this song an 8. I think that's a very fair score for this song. Really good song, solid, just missing a couple things to elevate it to a perfect score. Let's move on to the next track, which is Jam with 2 J's. Okay, so I think I really liked that song. Very chaotic, kind of all over the place, but very much in line with their brand. Very playful songwriting, very playful production, taking risks, taking us places we didn't know we were going to go. Are we happy that we were taken there? It depends on taste, but I appreciate that level of playfulness and creativity when writing songs like this. To be honest, I quite enjoyed that song for most of it, the whole way through. I loved all the different twists and turns. I love that it wasn't a typical song structure. Lots of crazy details in the production. Very brave, very bold. Borderline gimmicky at times, admittedly, yes. So there is that element to it where it's very crazy and chaotic, but reeling it in ever so slightly might have made it feel a bit more elegant. Whereas right now it really sounds like they're throwing paint at the wall. But I still prefer that than to hear something that is very safe and boring and generic, which this song is not. I also like that we actually had quite a lot of clean melodic singing in this song, where you could really hear what they sounded like. That was very much appreciated. The individual tone of each voice became a bit more apparent to me in this song, strangely, despite its chaos. I think the drop in the chorus is probably the weakest part of the song, weirdly enough. I love everything surrounding it, but the drop is a bit too gimmicky for my ears. Still, I have to rate this song highly. I'll give this song another 8. So another really good score. I think this song could have gotten a 9 if the chorus were a bit stronger. And a 9 is like near perfection. A 10 is going to be really rare, I think, in these reviews, as perfection should be rare. So another 8 is a really solid score. Let's move on to the next track, which is I Like It. This song is a mixture between quite a generic and trendy style and more unique creative ideas, which makes it very hard to rate. There were some very repetitive hooks in here that I found a little bit annoying, like the I like it, I like it, I like it. You know, it's a little bit repetitive and annoying, but at the same time, there was something kind of daring about how aggressively tuned the lead vocals were. I really liked the vocal line at the end of the chorus and how it goes into that really filthy rap part with the dissonant atmospheric synth. Really cool idea. That sounded awesome. So I wish more of the song was like that. The drop from the end of the chorus into the dirty part, love that. Just not sure about the trendy garage safer style of the rest of the song. I can't say it does much for me. So I think this song, I'll give it definitely gets points for the more creative parts, but I think this song is getting another 6. I do understand that the heavy autotune is a stylistic choice, but unfortunately that style is not really my thing personally. Again, these are personal rankings, even though I do try to give my objective reasoning for these ratings. Next song is Runners. Let's go. So what I really appreciate about Runners is that it was a nice atmospheric switch up. We got something a little bit more ethereal and spacey and emotional even. I love that change of tone. A lot more melodic singing and a very dynamic songwriting overall. This song gave you the twists and turns without it feeling gimmicky, and I love that. And I quite liked the detailed production and the little hints of breakbeats here and there. That was really lovely. What I'm not as fond of, and this is something I'm starting to notice, is they tend to like very repetitive hooks that I personally find to be a little annoying, like the na 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 na. You know, it's kind of just, it's not smooth. It's just kind of like hits you in the head. And I can't tell how much of that is just me kind of not getting it or if that's a legitimate complaint. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. So yeah, apart from that chorus hook, I really enjoyed this song overall. So I am going to be giving it another 8. So we're going between 8 and 6 here on this album. Hopefully I can try to break out of this cycle somehow and commit to a different number. We'll see. It's up to the album at the end of the day. Okay, next song is Twilight. I'm thinking really hard about this one. What I like about this, of course, is the focus we have on their clean singing. This one is a little bit more tastefully produced than some of the other tracks. You can really hear their tones clearly. It's intimate. There's some beautiful vocal melodies here, beautiful harmonies. Even the rapping was really well integrated. The instrumental is beautifully detailed. But what's making me a little unsure about this song is it doesn't really sound like it fits thematically with how the rest of the album sounds. It's a bit random to me. It feels very sudden. And I would go so far to say as it doesn't really sound authentically like them. And I'm sure that this group has some great slower songs and ballads up their sleeve. But if I'm going by the overall stylistic direction that the previous few songs have shown me, this one seems very random and somewhat inauthentic. Maybe that's going a step too far. But I guess I'm only saying that because it seems like this more easy listening, approachable style of song was put in there to appease listeners who may be turned off by the overall aggressive style of the other tracks. I'm more of a fan of committing to a certain sound and developing that sound to make the album feel more cohesive as a whole. I would also say that this song is not particularly catchy. It has some beautiful melodies, but is it memorable? Is it a standout? Something that you will look back on and say, whoa, I'm so glad they put that on the album. Maybe. I don't know. It's a cute track, but it's the epitome of a 7 out of 10. So we finally got our 7. Actually quite a beautifully produced song with some beautiful melodic details and stuff. My main criticism of it is more of a thematic one. And one last other comment I have is that there was a sort of a long sound that spread throughout. I think it was the chorus that was sort of a strange choice. No, I wasn't crazy about that either. But it does get a 7. A better song than the 6s, obviously. Now, I'm going to have to take a break here, just in case the lighting changes and you get a bit confused. Okay, we're back. Let's move on to the next song, which is Stray Kids. Wow, self-titled song. So as for this track, Stray Kids, this is by far the weakest song on the album. I do consider this the last song on the album, so whatever score this gets, we'll put that towards the final score. For a self-titled song, this really doesn't seem to represent what they're about from what I've gathered. This song is lacking the edge, the attitude, the energy, the fun that is prevalent in a lot of their, singles and title tracks. And you would think that a self-titled song would represent that, but this song is going for kind of a more commercially emotional thing with a very derivative chord progression and very basic melodic writing. I like the drum production and the vocal performances are decent, but the writing of this song is very basic. And the overall effect is frankly quite boring. Is it a bad song? No, it's not a bad song, but it is significantly weaker than the rest. So this song is gonna get a 4. I think any lower than a 4 would be borderline bad, and I don't think this is a bad song. Really, its offense is being too inoffensive, which is something I really don't like, and something that I wouldn't expect from them. And not to belittle them or belittle anyone who enjoys this song. I'm really just speaking from my own personal perspective and just giving my honest thoughts. So now that we have the scores and all the main tracks, we are going to check out one more track, which I see on the list, which is the Chk Chk Boom festival version. But I'm not going to consider that part of the overall score. We are sticking with the original songs here. So with all the ratings for each track combined, the score I'm giving this album, 8 by Stray Kids, is 6.7 out of 10. That's about right, considering my feelings for this album as a whole. It's almost a 7 out of 10, which is quite a good score. I do think this is a solid effort, and I think the album would have reached that 7 score if it had been a little bit more coherent and some of the compositional and songwriting choices made a bit more sense and weren't as random. I am a big fan of chaos, or at least an organized chaos, which is kind of what I associate with them, but a lot of the choices on this album bordered on random, such as the atmosphere for Twilight and the breakdown in JJAM, or the chorus breakdown. But what I can praise this album for mainly is the vocal performances. The rapping in particular was really great, very rhythmically interesting, and I love the penchant for production experimentation too. Lots of interesting break beats here and there, good sound design, lots of influences in the production all around. A little rough around the edges, a little bit random, as I said, at times, but the production on this album makes it feel very vibrant, along with their energetic vocal performances. That about sums up my thoughts. Please let me know what you think of this album and of my analysis as a whole. Do you agree or disagree? What would be your standout tracks? I think my favorite track is probably Jam, even though I'm not crazy about the chorus, along with Chk Chk Boom. Super, super banger. Great choice for a single. And if there are other albums by Stray Kids that you think would rub me a little better, then I'm totally open to hearing those suggestions too. Again, if you want me to see me react to this music in real time, the link is in the description to the extended reaction. Oh, I almost forgot about Chk Chk Boom festival version. Let's see what's going on here. Alright, as for Chk Chk Boom festival version, this version goes really hard. I can definitely see myself going crazy to this at a festival or a club. Totally has that potential for a really wild moment. A really cool remix. I'm really into it. And actually, I'd love to hear them pursue this sound more on original songs. That would be really cool. I suppose there's nothing super original about this sound, but with a really good song to back it up, it could be really fun. Okay, that's about it from me for today. Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks so much and take care.